Well, guys, today we learned an interesting development that apparently EA has been reaching out to some people asking about what they should do for next year's game, which shows a couple of things to me, and we'll talk about it. Today was once again a tipping point on some content stuff, and there were some Reddit posts and some YouTubers talking about stuff that just we've already been discussing plenty of times on this channel, but it's kind of reaching the more mainstream now as time goes on, right? More FC26 stuff because EA just can't wait. They just can't wait. They are begging us to move on to next year's game already, even though there's still 3 months of this game left, like still a quarter of the game left, and they just want you to forget all about this game ever existing. But we'll get into all that as time goes on here. But thank you guys for being here and joining today. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. If you leave a comment on this video, I may get to it on my second channel. It's going to be like a couple hour recording sesh. I'll see how far I end up getting. I did see some comments yesterday where it's like, hey, where's your second channel? It's in the description down below. It's called JFC2 and we make random videos on there. And okay, let's start with content. Today was a tipping point for some people. And listen, we tend to overreact to content on a day-to-day basis a lot, I feel like, as a community. But I feel like this year has been the exception to this because there's just been so many baffling decisions, right? We've talked about this plenty of times. But today was a draft objective, right? And people were like, oh my God, cool. People saw the SBC where you can get draft tokens. You run to the objectives tab. You're like, hey, there'll be a draft objective. Finally, something different in draft. And it's an 87 plus player pack, which usually in some FIFAs actually would be pretty cool. And like the Win 8 one, I think is what, an 86 by 2, right? Some years you're like, yeah, that's actually, that's not bad. But the problem is right now, fodder is so cheap that an 86 by 2 might be 2,000 coins. You might go Win 8 online draft matches for a 2,000 coin pack, basically equivalent value there, and an 87 being a 2,000 coin pack as well. So there's a complete misalignment here with the market prices compared to the rewards that we're getting, right? The draft objective comes out, not very good. The Evo stuff, there's a big Reddit post right now that kind of was going viral a little bit, talking about just the differences between the months of paid evolutions we've been seeing on a month-by-month basis that we'll go and talk about here in just one sec. But you know, we talk about it first, then we kind of cover it later as the general community gets there eventually. But it really feels like, apart from the exchanges stuff that we have seen that is at least something different, this has been the most phoned in summer you could possibly have, guys. I mean, it's shocking how phoned in this has been. Not to overreact to everyday content, but they changed the player pick as well to 82 plus 1 of 4. It's less golds, but there's more 82s in there now. It's been pretty debatable on if it's better or worse. I think most have said it's slightly worse. Okay, so we're going to start with this. So I clipped this portion of Nick's stream today where he said something that was pretty interesting, and I think it is very indicative of a couple of things. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. You guys let me know, but we're going to play the clip out, and then we're going to talk about it after.
Just let it go, man. You know what I'm saying? EA have already ruined FC26, man. And the game hasn't even come out, bro. They're giving every single person an icon, man. What the fuck is going on with this game, bro? They're so stupid too, man. Because these EA employees behind the scenes, they asked me all this shit a couple months ago about how they can make next year better because their game is dying. Their game is dying, so they actually come to me, who's the biggest dickhead towards that company, and ask me, what can we do to fix the game? And I tell them 10 things, and what do? Oh, they're so worried about nobody buying their game that now they're gonna give everybody an icon. But yeah, bottom line, guys, I think a lot of people think EA is trying to make the game worse. Just my opinion is they're really stupid people. I think they go to work every day and they try to make the game better. Because I have spoken to a couple of these guys when they ask me for like advice and stuff, and like I tell them these things and I see their brains like trying to process it, and I can just tell that like it just goes in one way and leaves the other, and they have no idea what is even being told to them. But it's just, man, they don't save themselves, man, and unfortunately it's sad to see.
So to me, I actually found that quite shocking, actually, that they would reach out to him to ask about what they should do next year. And the reason that's so shocking is because if you don't know Nick, he has been one of the most vocal anti-EA people for years now. And to the point where, like he said in that video, like he calls them like stupid, like he legitimately like insults them. And even despite that, like, yes, I know he's one of the biggest creators, right? But even despite that, they're still asking him like, hey, what do you think we should do? To me, that is maybe reading too much into it, but to me, that's a sign of desperation. That to me is like, hey, if they're reaching out to him, they're going to reach out to anybody. And that makes me genuinely worried as well that they don't actually have much conviction in what they're doing. Like, they don't actually really have as much of a plan, or at least confidence in a plan, as you would hope they would have right now. And the thing he was talking about too is the whole pre-order icon thing, right? Here's as the years have gone on, the pre-order bonuses that we have seen starting in FIFA 21, right? We have ones to watch, then Wants to Watch plus hero, then Team of the Week plus World Cup hero, then Team of the Week plus UCL hero, then upgradable hero, now pre-order icon. Like, you can tell it just constantly goes up and up and up, and it feels like they really are just in a state of, we got to make everything better, 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 and there's no end in sight to any of this. Like, this is a very big indicator that next year the power curve is going to be the same thing. Of course, there's always a chance that that's not the case, but this is an indicator that it probably will be. And you can see as the years have gone on, just better, better, better. We have to make everything bigger and bigger and bigger. And when does it end, right? Where do we stop? Where does it all stop? And apparently this icon as well is going to be like an upgradable version. So the card design's apparently this one here. The other icon design is supposed to be like the regular icons. This one's going to be like an upgradable icon apparently. So it says base icon in the pre-order bonuses that we're going to get, but apparently it's a base for a while, then it upgrades as time goes on, right? Which, yeah, like that sounds cool, but just when does this stuff come to an end? Like, we have the premium season passes now. We have the evolutions that are all paid and getting worse. And we'll talk about that more in one sec, but there just has to be a point where this game becomes free to play, guys. Like, I don't understand how we go again, or how EA expects them to sell well and have next year's game do well with the exact same thing again. We just saw that something's wrong, right? Something's clearly wrong with the system that they have right now, as the game is not done very well. They can't run it back. Like, we're not just going to run it back and hope it gets better. And to me, unfortunately, them asking Nick for help, like, tells me they don't have conviction in what they're doing, because if they're asking him, who's so anti-EA vocally, like, I mean, I think if they really had faith in what they were doing and that we would like it, they wouldn't be doing that. Now, maybe this is a thing where damned if you do, damned if you don't, where if they don't ask him, one of the bigger creators, then like they're doing a disservice to one of their biggest creators. And if they do ask him, it looks like they're desperate, right? So maybe this is one of those things where we're reading too much into it. But to me, if they're asking creators for help, they are like, we're already in a bad spot. Here's one more look at the card designs, by the way, if you didn't see these yesterday, but let's take a look at this Evo breakdown and cost per month here. This user, Froking Barlow, decided to take a look at how much the Evos have costed per month, right? And how much more it has gotten as time has gone on. And take a look at this. So 50K in September, there was not much of September, right? October, 300K, you could say. November, December, about 550. Then we hit this like huge change in the month of January and February. And then March, we get up to 2.6 million. June, up to 2.9 million. And I'm sure this is going to reach 3+ million as we have a week left of June still. The damning thing down here, to do every Evo to date, you'd have had to pay either 12,247,500 coins or 60,900 FIFA points or 435 pounds. Up to the end of January, there had only been 7 Evos exceeding 100K. From March onwards, there have been more than 7 each month. And this is another thing too, where are they just going to keep going until they see what they can get away with? Because I just cannot believe that it looks like right now they're almost going to run it back again. It looks like they're testing things for next year, like, hey, the paid Evos are going to look like this next year. The premium season pass is going to be this way. The fodder prices and the power curve is going to be this way again, it looks like. I'm just kind of shocked that usually you can get a good feel for what EA are wanting to do when it comes to next year's game in the summer of the old game. And right now, it's just so phoned in and not much has changed. Just more paid Evos. That's what we're seeing right now. More paid Evos. It was less of a menu grind during Team of the Season. We have kind of one now, but Team of the Season, we didn't have one, which is different, right? That's worse than previous years. So is it just going to be like an extra version of this year? Because if that's the case, we're in trouble, like big trouble. Or are they going to actually try and learn off of what happened this year and go back off that? Because maybe, I guess what could have been happening too is when they're making this game over the winter time, they had all of this stuff in mind, and this is kind of a preview of what we're going to see next year during this summer. And they're realizing right now the numbers during the summer have been terrible, and they're like, well, next year's game is a lot like this. What do we do? That's what I'm worried about. And honestly, it's kind of insane to me that running it back is even a thought in their minds. And I think that it is. I think it's actually the most likely outcome here. And I also worry because we have so many FC26 leaks right now, and it's June 23rd. I mean, we're like 30 to 60 days early on these leaks. We have the hero, the icon, the gold, all these card designs. We have feature leaks already in June. EA clearly are very aware of what gets leaked and stuff. This is intentional. Like they know that this stuff is out there and they're just fine with it. In fact, they probably pushed for it to be out there already. It shows to me for sure the numbers are not doing that good. It shows to me they're asking creators who they usually would never associate with for help. that's a bad sign. And what I worry about too is that they actually are trying their best right now to make a game that's like rewarding, engaging, fun, grindable, and they just can't do it because they're not very good at their jobs. That's worst case scenario to me. And I think every day gets us closer to that point, and that's concerning. Of course, let me know what you guys think. But yeah, the hero design has also been leaked, and just every day there's more stuff. There's more FC26 leaks right now than FC25, and we're still in June. This is not normal. If you're new here, this is not normal. We have one FC25 leak right now, and it's a center mid Evo coming, and it gives quick step, pinged, and technical, which I guarantee you that is going to be paid because it gives out 3 great playstyle pluses. We're going to be over the 3 million coin mark for Evos in just this month alone. And this is the thing too. I was seeing Nep talk about how, like, if you don't have 500k coins right now, skill issue, right? And this is where it grinds my gears a bit, because let's see if I can find this tweet to not misquote him. Right here, Nep was getting into it with somebody, right? Talking about how if you've been playing this game longer than me, put more hours into this game than me, and you still can't afford a 500k Evo, then maybe you're just shit at the game, mate. Which, yes, like, if you've been putting hella hours in, can't get a 500k Evo, you probably spent your coins in different areas. But this is the thing, is that people will attempt to justify these minute changes for the worse all the time. We have more paid Evos than ever, right? When we go back to, let's say, League SBCs, back to menu grind stuff. I can't say for certain here, but what I can probably guess is that Nep, when League SBCs came out in FIFA 20, you said, hey, they're not last year, but they're still pretty good, guys. Don't be too upset. You know, you're overreacting. And now eventually, 4 years later, 5 years later, we're sitting here like, hey, man, remember when those were good? It's like every year, these little minute steps get taken to take things away from us over time. So these 500k Evos that you say, yes, skill issue, you can't afford that. It's less so about the Evo itself being ridiculous, more so this is just getting worse over time. The Evos are all paid, overpriced. Most of them are not worth it. There's 13 million coins worth of evolutions this year. Like, this is all trending in a bad direction. So this is where creators like this grind my gears a bit when they're like, hey guys, you're overreacting. Like, you can make 500k in a couple weekends and there's your evolution and it's a great card. It's like, sure, you're not wrong about that, which maybe a couple weekends is kind of insane for 500k, but either way, yes, if you're playing the game all year, you probably can afford a 500k evolution, but this is just, you're tap dancing around what's the actual issue here, and it's more so this is all getting worse and it's going into a bad direction. We can't sit here and be like, damn, what happened to the game? Why is it all dead? What's this and what's that? When a lot of creators end up on the side of like, EA's actually not doing that bad of a job. They've listened to us actually a lot of the time. Okay, well then how would you sit here and say the game isn't what it used to be? What's happened? If they've been making a lot of good decisions, how are we here? So that's where it becomes a little bit of a tough one. And not to put words in anybody's mouth, right? Not like, I'd love to talk to Nep about this. I'm not big enough to have a reach like that. So I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, whether it be Nep or Nick or whatever, right? But this is just my observations that I've noticed from like general creators who maybe are more along the EA side, which Nep usually is not, but more along the EA side, where it's like, I feel like you're just ignoring the problems. People are trying to be contrarian for the sake of it, where it's like, hey, you're actually not doing that bad of a job, guys. And it's like, clearly the common people have thought so. The hardcore players have thought so. The common players have thought so. They're not here anymore to the same level that they once were. So ignoring these issues, acting like we're overreacting to this stuff is irresponsible to me. Yeah, well, let's look at this Evo. This is the only FC25 leak we've got right now, guys. I mean, it's gonna be paid, you know, take one last look. And I did also get news that yesterday we were talking about this up to 4,600/6,000 FC points. Apparently this graphic is only this way because he doesn't know which one it is. He's heard from sources 4,600 and some he's heard 6,000 for. So it's not like a number in between here. It's one of these two. So a more fitting symbol here would have been the slash. So 4,600/6,000 FC points would have probably been more fitting there. But yeah, of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hold on, guys. I forgot this one. The showdown cards have been leaked for next year. I mean, if this isn't more proof, this is just EA pushing shit out. I don't know what it is. The showdown cards are leaked for next year. We might get winter wildcard card leaks for next year, guys. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. Yield is my dad, and I'm done talking. I don't know what to say. Oh yeah, wait. Hudlin might not be in next year's game, by the way. Released from Huddersfield. That is some people out there not happy about that one. Some people very happy about this one. This might be our last 6'10", 6'9", whatever the hell he is, Hudlin card in FIFA history. Isaac Toure it is. And okay, we'll read a few of your comments here because we're obviously going to read them on the second channel. But WXTR leads us into another topic as well. Dude, what the fuck happened to super sub player items? I think what happened is they got to a point this year where they didn't want to do any more stuff. I think they're at the point now where they're basically going to phone it in for the rest of this year and just have next year be a barrage of new releases, new features, and they decided to just leave it for next year. That's my guess here, because it makes no sense. They're not going to release it now to me. There's no way in July they release it. So I think that's just one more thing that they're going to add to next year's new giant feature list that I'm sure we're going to see. That if I was to make a prediction now, I think next year's like new pitch notes that we'll see is there's going to be a shit ton of new features. I almost guarantee you there's going to be a ton of new features that look cool, sound cool, and it's going to be the most broken game on release because it's going to be so many new things that it's going to be just busted. I almost guarantee you that's going to be the case. And I think they thought to themselves, well, we'll just wait for super subs for next year just to, you know, add one more thing that sounds cool to make you buy next year's game because it didn't last year. Got Icarus here. I'm free to play, but my friend spends a lot on FC points. There is nothing he won't do in the Evo section. He paid for the Butra Evo even though he does not play with him. Some people have no filter. EA knows this. They will milk these people for everything that they are worth. And this is the thing, is that when you think about it from like a vacuum, your friend, I mean, he at least knows what he's buying. That's better than gambling, right? He knows at least what he's going to get. Does he think that's worth his money? He says yes, and he buys it. So in one hand, you're sitting there like, what's the problem with that? But at the same time, you gotta be aware that if you are complicit with this, it's gonna get worse. Your friend will have to spend more money eventually, or worse cards eventually. You're gonna see more and more monetization paths eventually. So even if the purchase itself is like more ethical than the gambling stuff has always been, right? You need to be aware that if you do buy it with FC points, that it's probably going to get worse, and it's only going to get worse until you stop buying it with FC points. So that's kind of the thing with that, is that people will say, hey, it's way better. Why are you complaining? It's better than gambling. And it's like, it is. It for sure is. But both things can be true at once, where it's better. At least you know what you're buying. People say it's worth it, then sure. But you know that if you continue to support this, it's only going to get worse, right? So that's kind of the thing with that to me. And of course, let me know what you guys all think in the comments. And I think that's all I got to say. And thank you all for being here watching today. Appreciate you all so much. And I love you so much. Peace.